It's not just a bad word. When you hear the word debt, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most people, it's a scary thought. It might make you think of big credit card bills, student loans that never seem to go away, or the stress of owing money to someone else. We are often taught from a very young age that all debt is bad and that we should avoid it at all costs. The goal, we're told, is to be completely debt-free. But what if I told you that this is only half the story? What if debt could actually be a powerful tool not just to buy things but to build incredible wealth? It sounds crazy, I know, but this is one of the biggest secrets that separate the rich from everyone else. So, let's break it down to the absolute basics. Debt, in simple terms, is just borrowed money. You need money for something, so you go to a person, or more commonly a bank, and ask to borrow it. The bank agrees, but with one condition: you have to pay it back over time, and you also have to pay a little extra. This extra money is called interest. The interest is the price you pay for using someone else's money. Think of it like renting money. You get to use it for a while, but you have to pay a rental fee for the privilege. Let's dig a little deeper into this idea that not all debt is created equal. To really understand how to use debt to your advantage, you have to learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. This is one of the most important financial lessons you will ever learn, and it's surprisingly simple. The difference comes down to one simple question: does this debt put money into your pocket, or does it take money out? That's it. If the debt helps you make more money in the long run, it's good debt. If it just costs you money, it's bad debt. It's a concept so basic, yet so many people get it wrong throughout their entire lives. Bad debt is the most common type, and it's the one we're all familiar with. This is the money you borrow for things that go down in value or are consumed. Think about a credit card balance from a shopping spree. You bought clothes, went out to eat, maybe got the latest gadget. Those things don't make you any money. In fact, they lose their value almost instantly. You're now stuck paying back the original amount plus high interest, sometimes as much as 20% or more. This is also true for most car loans. Let's be honest, the way most people are taught to think about money and debt sets them up for a life of financial struggle. We live in a society that encourages us to want everything right now. We see our friends on social media with new cars, amazing vacations, designer clothes. The easiest way to get those things without having the cash is, you guessed it, debt. So people pull out their credit cards or take out personal loans. They get that instant gratification, that short-term happiness of having something new. But this happiness comes at a very high price, and it's a price that keeps them from ever building real wealth. The most common trap is credit card debt. Banks make it so easy to get a credit card, often with a high limit. It feels like free money. You swipe it for your morning coffee, for online shopping, for a nice dinner out. Each purchase is small, so it doesn't feel like a big deal, but those small purchases add up incredibly fast. Now let's flip the script. Look at how wealthy people, the top 1%, think about and use debt. While the average person uses debt to buy liabilities that take money out of their pocket, the rich use debt to buy assets that put money into their pocket. This is the fundamental difference, the secret ingredient that accelerates their wealth creation. They don't fear debt, they respect it and use it strategically. They understand that they can use the bank's money, which is called leverage, to control large assets that they couldn't afford to buy with their own cash alone. This allows them to multiply their returns and build their fortune much faster. This is how they amplify results, compounding and scale. The most common asset the wealthy buy with debt is real estate. They don't wait to save $1 million in cash, they use down payments and mortgages to control larger assets. For example, they might put down $250,000 of their own money as a down payment, and borrow the rest from a bank. Now they control $1 million asset. The rent they collect can pay the mortgage, taxes, insurance, and expenses. And if there's money left over, that's positive cash flow. Not only might the property appreciate, but each mortgage payment also builds equity. So they win in 3 ways: monthly cash flow, appreciation, and loan amortization. All of this while using a relatively small portion of their own money. The bank's money does the heavy lifting. Okay, let's walk through a super simple step-by-step example of how this works with real estate. It's one of the most accessible ways for a regular person to start using good debt. Imagine you want to buy a small house that you can rent out. The house costs $200,000. You could try to save the full $200,000 in cash, but that would take many years. By then, the price might be higher. This is where good debt helps you get in sooner. Go to a bank and get an investment property loan. They usually require a down payment, let's say 20%. You use $40,000 of your savings. The bank lends the remaining $160,000. Visual. $40K, your money, plus $160K, bank's money, =$ $200K house. Visual. $1,500 per month. Rent. Visual. Mortgage might be $950. Other costs, taxes, insurance, repairs, about $350. Total expenses, $1,300. You collect $1,500, pay $1,300. That leaves $200 positive cash flow monthly. That's money in your pocket, and the debt is completely paying for itself. Even if it only appreciates by a modest 3% per year, your $200,000 house is now worth $206,000 after the first year. Your net worth just went up by $6,000, and you only invested $40,000. The bank's money bought an income-producing, appreciating asset. That's how small savings become a wealth-building machine. Let's talk more about this powerful concept called leverage. It sounds complicated, but the idea is actually very simple. Think of it like using a lever to lift a heavy rock. In finance, your own money is your strength, and debt is the lever that allows you to control something much bigger. You invested $40,000 of your own money. In the first year, let's say the house went up by 5%, $10,000. Because you used leverage, that $10,000 gain was based on the full value of the house, not just your down payment. So you made $10,000 on your initial investment of $40,000. That's a 25% return on your cash. If you'd bought a $40,000 asset in cash, a 5% gain would only be $2,000. Leverage magnified your return. It magnified your profits. Of course, leverage is a double-edged sword. It can magnify gains, and it can magnify losses. If the market drops 5%, that $10,000 loss is a 25% hit to your initial $40,000. This is why it's critical to use leverage wisely. Invest in quality assets, good markets, and always have cash flow cushions. Make sure you can cover mortgage payments during vacancies. Run the worst-case scenarios. The wealthy don't borrow blindly. They research neighborhoods, job markets, rents, and expenses. Do your homework. Prepare for both best-case and worst-case outcomes. Real estate isn't the only way to use good debt. Another classic strategy the wealthy use: borrowing money to start or grow a business. Think about the biggest companies today. Very few relied only on founders' savings. At some point, they took on debt to build factories, hire talent, develop products, and expand. Imagine a side hustle, baking cakes from your kitchen. You're getting so many orders you can't keep up. You have two choices: keep it small or think like a business owner. Go to a bank and apply for a small business loan, say $20,000. It's scary, but with a solid plan, this debt can be the best investment you ever make. You don't spend it on a vacation, you buy assets, a commercial oven, a better website, targeted ads. New equipment lets you produce more efficiently and scale. Spend some on a professional website and ads to reach new customers. Each purchase is an investment to increase income. Profit should exceed the loan payment. Suddenly your side hustle becomes a real business. The loan gets paid off by business profits, and you build a valuable asset. You produce more, you sell more, you make more, and growth accelerates. Same principle as buying a rental property, using borrowed money to acquire something that generates income. If it puts more money in your pocket than it costs, you're on the right track. Okay, so you understand the difference between good debt and bad debt, and you've seen how the wealthy use it to their advantage. Now you might be asking, how can I start doing this? This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. First step, get your financial house in order. You cannot start building with good debt if you are drowning in bad debt. Aggressively pay off high-interest debt like credit cards and personal loans. Make a list of all your debts sorted by interest rate. Throw every extra dollar at the highest rate debt while making minimums on the rest. The avalanche method. Once a debt is paid, roll that payment into the next one. Build a small emergency fund, maybe 3 to 6 months of expenses. That acts as your safety net. Once free from bad debt and with a safety net, look for opportunities to take on good debt. Start small. You don't need $1 million building first. Maybe a modest condo or a small business loan to buy equipment. Start with low-risk investments you understand. Do your research. Run the numbers again and again. Make sure potential income comfortably covers the cost of debt. Never stop learning. Read books, watch videos, talk to people who have done it. If this video helped, smash the like button. Keep learning, start small, stay disciplined. These habits compound into financial freedom. We've covered a lot today, but I want to leave you with one final powerful thought. Using debt to get rich isn't a complicated secret reserved for Wall Street. It's a mindset you can learn. For your whole life you may have been told to save every penny and avoid debt like the plague. While saving is important, you can't save your way to true financial freedom. At some point you must make your money work for you, and debt is one of the most powerful tools to do that. Think of your income as a small engine. Good debt can be the turbocharger. First, get rid of high-interest credit card debt so you can free up income for investing. Build a small savings account that gives you the confidence to seize opportunities. Don't rush, this is a long game. Take one small smart step today. Make a plan, stick to it, and celebrate progress. Your financial future is in your hands. You can follow the masses or use debt strategically to build income-producing assets. The choice is yours. It will take time, discipline, and a different way of thinking. But building a life of financial freedom is worth the effort. Start learning. Start planning. You'll be amazed at what you can achieve.